Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. My name is Keviahwatrice. If you're new, make sure to subscribe. I would love to have you here on the channel. So let's get into today's video. As you can see by the title, today I'm giving you guys questions to ask while dating or courting, whatever word you like to use. I think these questions are super helpful as you are getting to know someone, filling them out, and of course, as y'all know, my favorite word, looking to see if things are in alignment. That is why we do our due diligence to ask the right questions, observe, and get to know a person. Before we get into these questions, this is not about, putting somebody on a flat out interview. It does not mean you need to ask all these questions in one sitting, okay? These are just some suggestions. So some of these may be asked earlier on and more directly, while others may be asked later through your own observations in good moments as you're connecting with someone. You may find a good moment to be like, oh, let me ask about that. I remember multiple times, as my fiance and I were talking, I had a list of questions in my notes, y'all. Mad questions. I'm just giving y'all a few today, but I remember there being moments like, oh, this is a good opportunity for me to ask this question on my list. So it's really about just flowing with things that naturally fit the conversation, or you initiating some conversations and asking the questions that you have. So let's get into these questions. Question number 1. Do you have a sense of your purpose or calling in life? As I told you guys in a previous video, that's something that is important to me. So it is a question that I need to ask. And this question isn't about, expecting someone to have it all figured out, but has God revealed something to you? Is there something that he's planted on your heart, something that he's calling you to? What do you believe, that purpose is? Of course, as believers, our purpose is to glorify God, edify him, and worship him, and grow and be disciples for the kingdom of God. And also there are certain things and places and callings that the Lord has on our lives. So what is that thing for you? And it doesn't have to be something grand. Maybe he ministers through coaching boys basketball, like maybe he's a coach, maybe he wants to start his own nonprofit, whatever the case. But what is your purpose and your calling? What has God called you to do, and how has he called you to minister to people? Ministering to people is just, how are you helping? How are you serving? That does not mean that he's a preacher and he's a pastor, but how is he ministering to other people? How is he serving and living out his purpose and calling? That kind of goes into my next question. What is your vision for your life? So basically what you're looking for here is what are their goals, right? What are the things that are important to them? They will probably talk about career, family, ministry, marriage, growth, whatever the case, because vision is going to, let you know their morals, their values, and where they believe that they are supposed to be heading in life. Next question, how do you handle conflict? This one is huge. Are they someone who shuts down? Do they immediately want to talk it through? I have found that my fiance likes to talk it through. Me, on the other hand, I be needing a moment, y'all. I be needing a moment, but I do need to shorten my moments. I can't go mute and silent on him for long periods of time. Absolutely not. But I know that I more so need time, and he likes to talk it through. You want to know if they are quick to apologize, or are they prideful? And these are things, again, that you may have to observe, but still answering the question gives you an eye for, how they communicate and how they resolve conflict. So you just want to know, are they someone who needs time? Because the reality is conflict is going to reveal someone's emotional maturity. Very much so. Next question, what are you passionate about? This kind of goes into the purpose and vision question as well. But you want to know what lights them up? What makes them happy on the inside? What gets them going? What makes them creative? What do they care about? What do they care about? Maybe they're into politics. Maybe they're not into politics. Maybe they, play the drums, maybe they serve, whatever the case. But you want to know what they're passionate about, because that's something also that is going to reveal their morals, their priorities, and their values. Another question I have is, do you want children? A very important question. I remember I was dating someone a few years ago, and come to find out they didn't want children. That's not a line for me. I want to have kids. I want to be fruitful and multiply. All right. So this is not something that you're going to want to hope changes. let somebody be direct. That's their preference. So yeah, you want to look and you want to be compatible with the person. Next question is, how do you spend time with God? This is a very revealing question. I feel like that you can, bring many follow-up questions to, like, how do you hear God? What does your prayer life look like? What was your upbringing in the faith? Or what is your come to Christ story? That's a question I love to ask as well. But you want to know how they spend time with God, because you want to know that the man of God that you're with, that like he hears from the Lord. He receives wisdom and instruction from the Lord, because after all, y'all, our call is to respect that man and to submit to him. And so we need to know that this man that we are honoring, we're respecting, and we are submitted to, that he is a man that we are confident following. Not saying he's perfect, but he has a relationship with Christ and he hears from the Lord. He spends time in the Lord's presence. So that's very important to ask. Another question is, what are your non-negotiables in dating? It's not just about your non-negotiables as the woman, but do you fit what he's looking for as well? So this opens the door to communicate boundaries, expectations, and again, someone's values. But yeah, ultimately, you want to make sure that you're aligned with what they're looking for as well. You also can ask about finances. Something you can ask is, how are you providing for yourself right now financially? So then, they will express, if they have a job, or maybe they're an entrepreneur, or maybe they're unemployed at the time, but you want to know, how are they providing for themselves? You may want to ask them, like, would you consider yourself more a saver or a spender? Things like that, to get a feel for the person and their habits. In my relationship, my fiance is definitely more of a saver than I am. I'm trying to get on his level. He's a lot more disciplined in that area than I am. And I know that, he's going to help me. And so it is a good match. But that's something very important to ask as well. Another question you can ask is, how do you deal with having a lot on your plate, being stressed or overwhelmed? That's just going to help you see like what this person's maybe reactions to life hardships or situations and stressors is going to be. Do you emotionally eat? Do you go play basketball to get some of the steam out? You know what I'm saying? But what are their reactions and behaviors when life gets a bit hard? You may want to ask someone, what's your favorite way to unwind after a long day? That gives you insight to things that they're comfortable with, right? And there are things that bring them enjoyment, peace, and joy, and things that refresh them. Another question that I feel like is important to ask when you are in courting and you both are waiting until marriage to have sex, you want to ask about expectations in that area. Because me and my fiance are waiting, we've had to have a lot of conversations about expectations when it comes to that. And this is a mature conversation that you can have. You may want to talk about expectations, what you like, what you don't like, but it's very important to talk about that too. Y'all, I have so many questions in my phone. Y'all, I have to count these. I have endless questions that me and my fiance talked about, but I just wanted to give you a few questions for this video that you can take with you and hopefully are helpful as you are getting to know someone and looking to see if they're aligned, learning their character, the behavior. It really is just a way to get to know someone, communicate, and, have some discernment along the process of dating and courting. Y'all, that wraps up today's video. I hope you enjoyed. I really just wanted to give you some resources and questions that you can apply when dating and courting and getting to know someone. Every question doesn't have to be super weighty. This is also you just getting to know someone, but also asking the very important questions. I have so many more questions, y'all, in my phone, and it's been on my mind to create an ebook of some sort about questions to ask, some of the lessons I've learned, the wisdom that I've gained, healing that I had to go through. I had to build my intimacy with the Lord. I had to grow in my own purpose. And so I really have been thinking about creating an ebook. If you enjoyed this video and would like to learn more about my story, wisdom, more questions to ask, let me know in the comments. We may have something coming for you guys this year. But that's it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.